Hello, welcome to Paxton Road TV. I am Sam Spurs for Life, and this is episode number 68. Yes, 68 of Talking Points. And this week's episode, we are talking about South Korea. What did we learn about the squad over in South Korea? And in the house, I am joined by resident guest, resident superstar guest. It's the S show today. It's Sid Spurs, it's Sean Hurl, and it's Sam Spurs for Life. We're going to talk football, we're going to talk South Korea, and I'm going to calm down a bit, but it's warm, so you know what I mean, maybe a little bit delirious. Anyway, let us do it. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening, then. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
How are we all?
Oh, good. I'm good. How are you?
Ticking along, you know how it is, just ticking along.
Just getting around. 36 degrees down south today. Wherever you are, I hope you've taken care of yourself because it's not nice out there. It felt like Dubai at one point. I've been to Dubai a couple of times and I tried walking outside in July temperatures and 2 minutes in, I turned back. It was kind of like that today for me. But anyway, that's not why we're here. Anyway, before we get into this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Like if you are watching. Hit that like button. We want to get as many likes as possible. And also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Again, the background is because I'm away from home. But don't worry about it. We'll sort it out. We're going to get that sorted out soon. Anyway, let's get into this. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about South Korea. What did we learn about the squad? So the squad throughout South Korea last week. Son, superstar that he was, met all the people at the airport. And from there on, we've seen 2 games and some real beastie training. So I want to get into this. Let's start with the first part of the topic, the players and the training. So we know that there was a number of players that didn't make the trip. They look like they're going to be on their way out. Namely, Harry Winks, Tanguy and Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso, probably even Joe Rodon in there as well. But the players that did go, Brian Hill, Pape Sarr, of the new players, obviously a few newer ones as well. Walcott Fagan was there. Harvey White, I believe. So there was a number of youngsters and the rest of the normal squad. We didn't see the likes of Perisic much. Kulishevsky obviously played in the second game. But let's get into the players themselves. Start with you, Sid. What did you think when you actually saw the likes of, I guess, Brian Hill, Pape Sarr make the trip, but then some of the others? We all know about Tanguy. We all know about Lo Celso from previous, but they didn't actually get a chance to prove themselves. Does that mean that that's it for those guys? And then looking towards the training that we actually did, it was bloody tough. How do you think the players have coped with that? I know it's a 2-part question, so answer as you feel.
So in terms of the 3 Musketeers, now you can call them because it is the 3, isn't it? I think they're done and dusted. They're done. They, if people have watched Tango and Cash, they are FUBAR'd at Tottenham Football Club, right? So forget about them. In terms of Pape Sarr and the Hill, we was on Parrot. We knew.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot him.
Under Conte, we never got to see much of them because they were both at loan. So we knew that Conte was going to put them on at some point just to go and see what he thinks of them, whether they're up to his standard, and whether they deserve, worthy of a place in his squad for the Premiership assault next season. He probably wanted to check them out. He's probably done that in the 2 games there, so he'll make his decision on that, whether they're going to be in the team, not in the team, but in the squad, or whether they go out on training. My personal opinion, I think Parrott will end up at either QPR or Sunderland. Hill, I personally think, will be loaned out with a view to be sold. And Pape Sarr, it'll be another loan for him for a season, unless in the next game against Rangers and that other one when they go into that other place, whether he does well. But I think them 4, I don't think they'll be in the squad, to be fair. But in terms of the training, do you know what? It's good for a manager.
You're hard man, you are.
no, it's good for a man because listen, they've had it too easy. They've had it too easy, right? They've not had a. I mean, all right, on the Poch they had a double session, and it's just fortunate that they were in the wrong place at the wrong time in Korea, hot conditions to be doing that kind of training. But it would have done them good because I've not seen any of them complain. They've Kane's come out, Dyer's come out, and they've all come out and said, they loved it. It was a bit hard, but you know what? Probably that's what we want. Well, not wanted, but that's probably what we sort of deserved to get us up and running again. And Kane summed it up yesterday saying he can't wait to get stuck into the Premiership because they're going to be so fit, and so lean machine. I mean, Sanita will be proud of them, won't they? Because they gotta be fit and strong.
You found another track. Listen, he's gonna find tracks for every single show. So, people, that is Sid for you. Sid says, Sid sings. We're gonna make every name up under the book for him. Anyway, thank you for that. I'll come to you, Sean, and you've got your name in Korean there. I'm assuming that says Sean Hill. How did you think, and what did you feel about the players that didn't make it? And then what did you think of the actual training themselves? Because we've seen that Ben Davies come back with a boot on his foot. That was probably down to the match itself. But again, because I don't remember, was he in that first training session? You know, the one where they were doing the 42 laps. He wasn't in that, was he? I think he missed that session.
I think you're right. I think he had an injury anyway, and I just think he's probably made it a little bit worse.
Yeah,
from a tumble.
Yeah. So what did you think of the actual players that didn't make it, and then the training itself?
Well, I think it's clear the message there is Gio, get yourself a new place. Tanguy, get yourself a new place as well. Harry Winks, thank you, but goodbye. And as for Joe Rodon, I think Joe Rodon, I just think he's a sort of symbol of his time at Tottenham. He's been really unlucky. He falls ill, which we have, it's like, to me, seems to be code for it. He picked up COVID just prior to the thing. So again, I don't know what that guy's obviously killed a few black cats along the way. That's all I can think. But anyway, it's been
sorry, Sean. That was Sid. He started laughing, and I saw this comment. So I'm just going to read this Mark P comment out because we've got Mark P's are very funny from last week. Hello, boys. Listen to Sean and change the username. Great show. We've got 45 minutes. We've actually got 42 minutes left because it's now 8:18. We're monitoring that time. Mark, I know you want to watch it, so don't tell little porkies. I know you want to watch it as well. I don't, but there's a certain 3K that might be watching it as well. Anyway, sorry, Sean. Carry on.
So I think the message is clear for those left behind, apart from Longley, who didn't sign in time which is again that's a bit of a disappointment. He signed too late for to get his paperwork done to come on the Korean tour, but Lloris has talked him up a lot. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing him next week. Actually, they're playing down the road from me. I mean, I can't believe it. A Spurs game, I can get a bus to. It's going to be brilliant. Looking forward to it. So I've got my ticket. I will be watching that, and I'll probably send some reports back from that as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the this squad. I mean, as Sid has already alluded. Although I took some kind of sadomasochistic pleasure out of seeing Harry Kane chucking his guts up. But the thing is, afterwards they all, Vetroni, the Marine, they all sing his praises because they know that this man's a winner. He's been everywhere. He's followed Conte around. He trained Conte for a start when Conte was a player at Juventus, and Conte's just had him on his team all the time. And his record speaks for itself. It's he instills her fitness, and that's you have to die. You have to die.
Not literally, because that's what I was thinking to myself when I saw that 42 lap thing at the end. Because
but remember, Kane and Son and those that had just arrived didn't do 42.
Oh, I know they didn't.
They only did 30, whereas the others who had been back a week.
Højbjerg didn't do it. Højbjerg didn't do it as well because he pulled his boots. I can't remember what lap it was, but I remember him just sitting there thinking, "Nah, I'm not doing this." And Basuma was the same. There was a few of them that stopped and then carried on. I think I saw Lucas Moura stop, and they did a free, and then when they kind of started again, he joined in. So there was a few of them that kind of took time out.
Be ringing the bell of shame then, because this is what he had at Juventus. If you gave up, you had to go and ring a bell.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
maybe
conditions,
they left. Huh?
conditions. That was humid as hell out there. Come on.
Yeah, but
Even
you know,
you are really cold,
they're
Sean.
fit.
Oh, mate,
I'm not cold at all.
You're cold-hearted, man. Oh,
No.
bro, you want them to die? No,
Not
no, no. What I think is good training. Yeah, I agree with you. The training is good. The only thing I would say is there is a fine line between overtraining, because that was obviously the first day and that was the open session. Some of them, as we see, couldn't cope with that, and that could have had a knock-on effect with the rest of the training and obviously the games. I think in that first game, and we'll get onto that in a minute anyway, they talked about only playing at about 60%. So again, these players have got everything. They would have had all the masseurs out there. They would have had everybody checking, blah, 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 physios, and making sure that they were obviously not redlined. But there is a fine line between what they do.
They had a massive medical team out there. You saw the tents that are erected on the side of the pitch. You know, they're not gonna, you know. And of course, you see them all putting their GPS trackers and what have you on there, so they, you know, they'll be monitoring, you know, all the time. So they'll be, you know, I don't think it's a concern, to be fair.
No,
Yeah.
and
If they didn't die, it was all right. It's fine. Go on.
no, but
Sorry.
also, don't you think they've probably, because it was an open session for everyone to view on that? Do you not? I personally think they've done that on purpose.
Of course they did.
To show everyone that, look, we're fitness training. That session after that, the closed door ones, they probably had it easy as anything, you know what I mean? But because the whole world was watching them, I think they did right. Let's show all these like that.
Well, not the report coming back from the team is that, you know, that running at the end is a thing they do every day.
They can't be doing that every day. Not that. That's not an everyday thing. That is a end of a session. We'll probably do that once a week just to see. But if you did that every day, there's none for you. I'll tell you that facts as an ex-PT.
Well, look how lean Kane is.
Yeah,
but it's the leanest he's ever been.
But there's a couple of them that are too lean. Like if you look at Sarr, and I've said this before, he turns sideways, he disappears. He's slim as anything, and he can't lose any more weight. There's a few of those players that don't need to lose weight. They actually need to put weight on, in my opinion.
Sam, you're going soft in your old age, mate. These are super fit individuals.
I know they're highly trained individuals. Sid, I'll come back to you. So, who impressed you in terms of that training aspect? Because I saw Richarlison. He put the effort in. He really looked like he was trying. Brian Hill, another one. Sarr again was another one. Troy Parrott again. These players maybe with a bit more to prove than some of the others. Probably put in a bit more effort, but naturally,
also they had an extra week's training, Sam.
Yeah, put that in as well. I think I definitely agree, because Son and Kane, you could see that Son probably was just doing interviews after interviews. Harry Kane was probably with his three kids with his feet up, and then come back and straight into that. That's hard for any player. But yeah, the players that did seem to do really well. Do you think there's a chance for Parrott? Do you think there's a chance for Sarr, Hill? Who else did I mention? There was another one. I forgot his name. But do you think those players, maybe some of those fringe players, do you think of those fringe players that were on the tour, there's going to be a few that say stay? Because I still think we've got one or two players, along with the ones at home that are not on the trip or didn't go on the trip, that might now go out on loan. Do you think there is a possibility? I mentioned Richarlison as well. Richarlison's definitely not going on loan. But what's your thoughts, Sid, on some of those other ones, the fringe players, shall we say?
I think we discussed this the other day as well. I wasn't looking at that tour for players to impress me. I weren't, I was looking for players to go there, get fit, and show a bit of grit, show how good they can be for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club coming into next season under Conte. And it's up to them to obviously just sort of impress Conte because he's not just looking at what they do on the pitch, it's everything else off the pitch as well. So for me, he's probably already got his squad already lined up, and the likes of Sarr and Hill, unfortunately, for them two, we've got too many already in the middle of the park, and on the wings, we've got Perisic, we've got Kulu, we've got Richarlison can do that, Son can do that now. So for him, I think he'll go on loan. Papa Sarr's not going to get in ahead of the four that we've already got in that midfield as well. So I think them two, I think he'll send them out on loan to get better, more experienced, and like you said, Sam, they might toughen them up a little bit as well. Because in winter, when it's like when they're going not Burnley anymore, but when they're going up north somewhere, and it's cold, Newcastle or something like that, they might get blown away. So I think he'll send them out to strengthen. I think the likes of Divine and people like that, Harvey Whites and them lot, I think they'll stick around just to gain the experience. But I think personally, Richarlison, Conte's bigged him up, hasn't he? He said to me he's impressed him for the 2 games that he played. And the most important thing he said is he can play across all 3 positions at the top.
I'd have loved him to have got a goal. We'll talk about the matches in it, but I'd have loved Richarlison to have got a goal on the tour. But it will come.
Yeah, and the most important thing as well is we're not finished yet with the window. So if he gets another 2 signings, then I think a lot of these players will be loaned out. The ones that have gone, the fringe players, won't be part of the squad next season if he gets the extra 2 players that he's looking at getting.
Yeah. Sean, do you think anybody's trained their way into Conte's mind, into his plans? Because, again, it's not just about what you do in the matches, because we know that there are certain players that don't train very well, that play really good in matches. And there are some vice versa that train really well. That play well in that, and you know what I mean? They don't train too good. I think you need to have a good basis. Conte wants to see a level of fitness. He wants to see a level of a progression in what you're doing. I can see, looking at people like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, he looks slimmer. You can see it in his face. He's lost weight. He looks like a proper athlete. Not to say they're not, but you know what I mean? He of all the players, you could probably look at him and think not quite as, race horse-like as maybe some of the others. However, he does look like he's really fit. Do you think anybody's trained their way into Conte's thoughts?
To be fair, I think it's really hard to judge. I mean, the only one I can speak of with any authority, because he's done an interview with the media, is Parrott, and he said that he fully expects to spend another year on loan, and that it's next summer when he wants to stay and can fight for his place. So I think he's already aware. He'll obviously be. I mean, I thought he was going to be part of the Jed Spence deal at one point. That we would loan him to Middlesbrough, but he certainly looks like he's going to. And I'd imagine he would have impressed Conte, because his running was unbelievable in that session. He was. But he says that he's always been a natural runner. So, but it's. I don't know that anyone's really played themselves into a place. The difficulty is obviously our homegrown situation, which seems to be getting more complicated by the day, because I've read that homegrown is not just homegrown, so there's also club developed is another session. So we do need to have some players that have come through our academy in our squad as well. So it's so much more difficult than initially thought.
There's 2 that spring to mind though, in terms of Dane Scarlett and Alfie Devine. Obviously, those 2 guys who went and played for the under-19s. I think that they will probably. I'm hoping they make the squad, but it obviously depends on who else comes in, I guess, in the window, because it's going to be difficult for them. But there has to be, as you said, there has to be that balance.
Yeah, it's about getting a balance. I'm hoping this new guy that's coming to help PRTv will have a bit more knowledge of the English Football League, and will be able to recommend people, and because we do need to keep on top of our homegrown quota for certain. But
definitely,
I mean, I was quite impressed with Gil in the first game. He was very, very good.
I'll hold you there. We're going on to the games now. You've done a nice segue. Yeah. You've done a nice segue. I like that. So we're going to start doing that. So before we get onto that, I'm going to say to the 36 people watching, everyone now hit that like button. If you all did that, that's immediately 36 likes. And if you've been, gone, come back, and you're new to it, also hit that like. If you're new to the channel, press subscribe.
We need that algorithm to work for us.
So Paul Russell, Mark P, Sean Moran, Kevin Murray, thank you for watching. Who else is in the house? Ricky, we've got you in there. HIT Young Puddy. Make sure Michael Bennett, should I say? Jack Kinnicky, as always. Hit that like.
Big up, Jack.
Anyway,
Basically, if everyone hits that like button, for every like button that gets hit, sound blurriness at the back starts to come out. So you might actually get rid of that blurriness if we get all 36 likes.
The shine disappears off the top of his head.
The shine will never disappear. That will never disappear. When you got a spotlight above, the shine will never disappear unless I start wearing the wigs, which I'm not going to do quite yet. If and when we win the league, however, there's a completely different matter. I will wear. Not going to say too much more because people will clip this up and then I'll have to do it. So I'm not going to say much more than that. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe. Add your comments as well if you're in the chat. Put your comments in if you want to ask us anything. We'll do our best to try and get to it. Obviously, you know what the topic's about. It's about the South Korea tour. So now we are moving on to the matches. I guess we can do a little bit of a review since we didn't really have proper reviews. So the first game, Team K League, was that what were they called? A combination of the Korean League players. They were a pretty decent outfit. It was an all-star team as such. I know that prior to the game, well, after the game, Conte alluded to the fact that he wanted players to play at about 60%. But it was a good performance. In the end, 6-3. There was some notable, well, Son and Kane. I guess you can say Son and Kane. Sean, start with you, and then we'll come to Sid after, because you was making your nice little segue into the matches. What did you... what did you think of the performance in the Team K game?
Well,
stop it now.
Let's do an overarching thing about the two games, right? Mm-hmm. The schedule is absolutely perfect. We played a team who are currently in the middle of their season, but so it was a good leg loosener, and then we played a possession-based team from La Liga, which is great preparation for what we face in the Champions League. I have to say, big up to Conte or whoever planned this tour. They were perfect opponents for us, in terms of getting experience. Next Saturday we're playing a British derby. We're playing Rangers. I think the thought that's gone into this is really good. And Conte alluded to that in the press conferences, particularly after Sevilla game. He said this is exactly the sort of game I wanted. But I think. The first game was a leg loosener, and there were some good bits, and there were some not so good bits.
Where did you get that from? Leg loosener. I've not heard that, but I like it.
Oh, that's old school, mate. Old school. Old school. You think coaches don't remember things? It's like someone said to me. I remember interviewing a coach. He said everything's been tried before. Nothing is new. Just give it a new name.
Exactly. All this
tick-a-taka could be push and run.
Yeah, and Liverpool used to play tick-a-taka, and they used to also play pressing from the front, and that's like the buzz thing. Pressing, they were doing that from years ago. I remember in
terms like leg loosener needs to come back. The coaches like you. Anyway, so it was good. It was good. Dyer's goal. Pick that one out. That one out. Left foot as well. He's on his swinging foot. But then the wall for the free kick. Oh, shocker.
It was horrible, that wall. I looked at that because they had the camera shot when it was like from the angle where the player was taking it, and it basically did that. It was just, you can't do that.
I don't think that would have been, I don't think Son and it was Papasada in the wall did themselves any favour. And the look that Lloris gave them when,
Sean, but going back to what Sam said about Papasar, if he had some meat on him, because when he went sideways, he went
sideways. He went from that to that. He literally went from that to that, and it was like, there's no way you're going to defend that if you turn sideways, my friend. So you need to be full on watching, head on, because you turn sideways, you're done.
Anyway, so there was diamonds in the rough, as you like. There was, Sanchez at left centre back. Oh my God! Oh, did that bring back Enes Mura for me? Oh my God!
The penalty. That was an obvious penalty. And he had the audacity to tell the guy you dived. I couldn't believe what he was doing.
He should have got a red card for that.
He was off.
Shocking.
Sid, the game, the first game, we'll come back to the Sevilla game as well, Sean. But your thoughts on the Sevilla game? Because like I said, I thought it was a good leg loosener. The players certainly, you know, I was impressed with Richarlison because of the fact that he just wants to prove himself, and that's a good thing. He's not just come here and thought, you know, I'm gonna be whatever. I'm just gonna train within my. He looks like he's putting effort in, as we talked about in them 42. What's it called? Up and downs. Brian Hill, I was also impressed with. But what do you think, or who do you think, you know, caught the eye in that first game? Mr. Sid.
Do you know what? I think Richarlison's the main one because, like you said, he's coming to a club like Spurs, right? No disrespect to Everton at all, but at Everton, when Calvert-Lewin got injured, he became the main man kind of thing in terms of creating, scoring. Now at Spurs, you've got to say you've got Son, Kane, Kulusevski, you know, so he's going to be like second, third fiddle, and for him to put a performance in like that, right, and you know, not give it the big I am or I want the ball all the time. He actually sort of played as a team. He was crossing the ball. He was running back, like you said. He was getting involved in everything, and I think that impressed Conte very much because he knows it's in him, and we didn't sort of see that temperamental side of him until the second game when he was defending Son. But you know, that's the kind of player he probably wanted. He's not bought him to score goals, right? An out-and-out striker. He's brought him in as a squad player, as a team player, to get involved as and when necessary and to contribute. And I think that's going to be the key important thing, because I know a lot of Spurs fans didn't want Richarlison and blah, blah, blah. But if you look at his overall game, I think he's going to be a massive asset to Spurs coming season and content.
Huge player. Yeah. And not only because of his tenacity, but he's got skills as well. You know, as I said, he was unlucky not to get a goal in that first game. There was an opportunity. I remember he kind of had a bad first touch, had a great second touch, pulled it inside, and then just that third touch eluded him. And who was it? Our friend, or his mate, shall I say? Yeah. Emerson, left-footed. What? 8 yards out? It couldn't have been more than 8. It was just it was in front of the penalty spot, wasn't it? Surely it was, and he missed it. I mean, anyway,
it was. I think 8 yards was giving it a bit too much leeway. I think it was like 7 yards. I mean, it was like at the most. It was an open goal.
Did you see Romero's face?
Yeah, Romero's
face. Romero's face on that one. He was like, "Oh God, here we go again." That's what it seemed like to me. Here we go again. But
exactly what you were saying about the skills in that, man. Next season, you know, he's going to have skills. And they're going to be multiplying as well. So it's going to be.
For those of you that don't catch these little nuggets here, you'll have to watch back because they're nuggets. Sid, who impressed you? Apart from Richarlison, who else?
I said it before a couple of days ago, even before the pre-game started. I wasn't watching the games to be impressed by anybody. I was just watching the players to see how much they would give, how fit they're going to be, because I know what they give week in, week out last season. So I get impressed and then I get unimpressed. So this was just for them to get there, get fit, and just sharpen up.
Yeah, it was definitely a sharpening up job. Like I said, you could see that they were playing within themselves, but there's playing within yourselves and then there's doing a Sanchez. We don't want to see Sanchez on the left. I think, to be honest with you though, I now that we've got Lenglet, we probably won't see him too much on that left side because obviously Ben Davies missed that game anyway. But Ben Davies being potentially injured, we don't know the severity of that injury. So whether or not he can then make it for the first game, that's in less than 3 weeks' time, you've got to remember. And I don't know what the guys, if they're going to be doing as much back at home as they are doing. Well, they're all going to be together now, but as much as what they've done previously. I've been told, or should I not been told, but I've read that they are still putting them through as much of their paces over here when they were over there, but we shall see. There's still got a bit of degree of catch up. Those of you that are watching, please, Paul Russell, Mojo, just join the house. JC as well. Please hit that like button for us. Do that now. Right now. So it's 44 people down to 40 people. But we are watching the time. So if Mark P's still watching, we still got 20 minutes, mate. So don't worry. We'll be wrapping up before Love Island Watershed. Let's have this comment. Yes.
Just
I believe we're going to wrap up because of bloody Love Island.
I know. Conte has said that Ben Davies' injury is not as serious as they think. So
okay.
To be honest, the protective boot I think was because there was a fear that being decompressed in an airline, it would actually make it swell more. So I think it was a precautionary thing. I seem to remember Harry Kane coming out with a protective boot after a game last season and still played in the next game. So I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest.
I don't want to worry about it, but I just remember when Oliver Skip came off and didn't seem too serious, and we didn't see him again from January. So yeah, I'm just saying. Pre-season. That's what I'm saying about pre-season. It's got to be a step changes. I know that they're pushing them, and Conte's going to probably have the fittest team in the Premier League, but that can come with a little bit of consequences depending on some of these players. Because remember, some players have some injuries that they can never get over. You know, you've got players with hamstrings that are always going to be problematic. They have to be managed well. A hamstring going in pre-season is not what you want, really. I've suffered it myself. It's not what you want because it puts you back. You know, you can't do the pre-season then, and then you're playing catch up all the time for the rest of the season. And Conte has already said, coming partway through a season, he played catch up just about. Obviously, say just about. Arsenal sold it, but we managed to get over the line this time. He's got to manage all the way through this pre-season. Obviously, we've still got a few more weeks before the season starts. So, thank you, Mojo. Already done with the likes. Comment here. Big up, lads on Ndombele. Ain't going to run like they did in Korea. No, he's not. Thanks, Sam. Mark's there alluding to the 9 o'clock watershed. Mark, you're very funny. I do like you a lot. Like as always, boys. Thank you, Jay. Mojo saying at Mark, Malak Cousins, TG, unless has running to McDonald's. Tang guy is not. Oh, guys. I know Tang. Anyway, he's not going to play for us anymore. I don't think we'll see him anyway. And they can't run for a bus, let alone 90 minutes of football. You lot are savage out here, let alone football. Okay. Last part of the show then. Let's move on. What's next? So, Sean, we've already touched on it. We've still got a couple of official preseason games left. One against Glasgow Rangers, and the other one will be against Roma as well. So, your thoughts on what we expect for the next few weeks in terms of the preseason games? Is it a case of now we're kind of gearing towards maybe the first 11? Does Conte play that in the Albert Skin? Because that's going to be competitive. No matter what anybody says, it's not going to be a game where you can play at your 60%. They're probably going to have to play above that. Unless, of course, they've talked to each other and said, listen, it is preseason. However, I think because the Scottish season starts slightly earlier, these guys will probably be looking to get a little bit more match sharpness. What's your thoughts on what you're expecting to see in the next few games?
I think certainly next Saturday up here in Scotland, it will be a very competitive game. As you say, their season starts a week earlier than ours. They've already had their Champions League qualifying draw announced today, so they're still trying to get through to the Champions League. I think, the last time that we played each other pre-season, Robbie Keane was crocked and, missed the opening part of the season. So it will be a good test, as Kevin has alluded to in the comments there. I'm looking forward to it. I always looking forward to going and being in the away end at Ibrox, but that's another story. But yeah, we'll. I'd imagine you'll now start to see Conte honing the team, and you'll start seeing what will possibly be the opening day 11. I would imagine we'll get to see Longley. We'll probably also get to see a bit of Perisic.
Bissouma. I want to see Bissouma. That's who I want to see.
Yeah, and Bissouma as well.
100%.
Yeah, but I think, I think Perisic's injury they're a wee bit concerned about. That's why he didn't get any minutes in Korea. But he's been doing all the fitness stuff, but not the ball work. And so I want him to be, that he needs to be available from day one, Perisic, because I think he's going to be a key part of our team. I agree. He's going to be a key player.
Craig Bowler's just saying, just we can't expect too much from the players if they're doing double session leading up to it. This is what I'm saying about overtraining. In terms of being able to get into a match, you want to be able to play without injuries or at least significant injuries. Like I said, them big muscle ones, like any hamstrings, quads, or anything like that, ankles, you don't want to be getting that pre-season because that is not a good thing. So they will have to play within themselves. Sid, what are you expecting? What are you looking to see from Conte in terms of what he puts out against Rangers come Saturday?
I think he's probably going to look to put out his best team, which he probably thinks will start against Southampton at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when the season kicks off. So initially, I think he will start off with his strongest. If they're all fit, then he'll start off with his strongest players. Obviously, like so Perisic, probably if he's still not fit, then he probably won't start. But I think he'll start with all of them. I personally think Langley is gonna get a start. If Ben Davies is not fit for Saturday, I think Langley is gonna get in there because he'll want to see him play and see how good he is, and whether if Ben Davies's injury, maybe like you said, if it's a skip scenario when he's not fit, then he could come straight into that team. So he may play the Rangers game and the other game that's coming up. But I think it's going to be a good game with Rangers, because Rangers, like Shawnee said, Rangers are a decent side to go and play them at Ibrox as well. Oof.
Hello.
It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting game, and I think Conte will want his players up and running, ready. I know it's only like 2 games left before the Prem starts, but I don't think he's going to dilly-dally, mate. He's going to get them in, and he's going to get them ready, up and running. And Saturday's game, I think, will be a good, strong lineup. He may change the odd 2 going into the second half and that, but I think a lot of these players are going to get 90 minutes. I don't think there's going to be like 45, 50.
You think? I'm not sure that anybody's going to get 90 at this stage. The reason I
can see them getting an hour.
Yeah, I can see 60 minutes, but 90 will be pushing it now, because even we don't know what the weather's going to be like. It might be roasting. I don't know. It's
going to be wet up here on Saturday.
It's probably going to be raining. It might even be single figures in terms of temperature, but I doubt it because it's warm everywhere. But go on, Sid. Sorry.
Certain players, I think Conte will know I can give him an hour, but I'm sure he's got 1 or 2 players in his mind that he'll probably be thinking, you know what, I'm going to give these the 90 minutes because I want to see.
Saying that, you did give Højbjerg quite a number of minutes in the games over the career tour, and I was surprised at that. I was expecting to see more of Sarr in that middle, potentially, because I think he came on after 70-something minutes in the game against Seville, and so did Brian Hill. So they both didn't get as much time as I expected them to.
Is that because possibly Basuma wasn't available, though?
Yeah, you're right in that one. Basuma not being available. I'm thinking the Ibrox game, I'm probably... Whether we'll see Forster again in goal to start, I think we should, because that's the sort of game that, you know, he's played in the Scottish League, so he knows what to expect from that. But I would like to see what our number 2 keeper... I know the Celtic thing. I expect to see our number 2 to see what he's like. I want to see him tested at some level, as you said, against, you know, people that are going to be putting crosses in, the corners going in, people that, you know what I mean, battling. That sort of game I want to see him, to see how he can cope with it. And again, as you mentioned, I want to see the players like Basuma in that midfield alongside, whether it's Skip, whether it's Bentancur, whether that will be Højbjerg. I want to see Basuma playing, because I feel he's going to be a starter. But until he plays, we don't know. Just going to this comment here from JC. I'll ask you, Sean. Are we going to see Conte push on with this Lucas experiment as a right wing-back option? I hope not. I agree with you, JC. I don't want to see that, because he can't defend and he can't attack in that position, in my opinion. So he's just not really doing anything. But there's obviously a reason why they're doing it. What do you think that is for?
Pass. You know me. You know you're very mischievous, Sam. You know me and Lucas don't speak in the same sentence, but I think, you know, I think he was. I don't understand why. There's obviously been conversations. This is something I would have tried last season, but I just think it's just a curious one. I mean, I think the feeling is that he's in the last year of his contract. They want to keep him around and let him leave on his own terms next summer. He wants to go back to Sao Paulo and play for his local team. I don't know. It didn't impress me, I have to be honest. I mean, he was just doing the same things he does when he plays up front, but just, you know, leaving us exposed at the back. Then, you know,
he's doing exactly the same thing he does for us up front, just further back. That's all it was. Yeah, that's all it was to me. He still done the same thing.
Was Jodi.
Oh God.
I never saw him pass a left back in all the in the game. I mean, I don't know. It could all be transfer games and things like that as well. It could all be coded messages saying, "Oh, look,
he might be actually because he knows people are probably publicly going to be watching these games. Other teams, managers, maybe trying to throw people off the scent, thinking that we might play Lucas at right wing back. That shouldn't happen. But let me ask Sid quickly on this one. What do you think of Lucas at right wing back, but also the continuation of playing Doherty at left wing back? Because again, he played there. I don't know what that says to Ryan Sessegnon, but obviously we know that Ryan Sessegnon is going to be under pressure anyway when Perisic gets fit. So I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I think Lucas was just put there for what you just said because Perisic was injured. Reguilon's not getting a look in, or I don't know what's going on with Reggie. We only had one recognised left wing back in Sessegnon, and he knows that Doherty can play at left wing back, which he did last season for us a good few games, and he did quite well. So he probably thought, you know what, I don't need to see him at right back. Let me use him as a left wing back, and I've got Royal. Let me try Lucas on a right wing back. No, I think he knows Spence is coming in at right wing back anyway. So now you've got Spence, you've got Royal and Doherty. Yeah, so I think just for the tour, he used Doherty as a left wing back because of the injuries. I personally think Doherty is going to be our first choice right back, and I've said this to you before as well, because I think he trusts Doherty, and I think he sees something in him. So I think he'll start with him, and then it's up to Spence and Royal to push him all the way. And if Spence or whoever does push him all the way, I think then he's got Doherty now where he can play left wing back or right wing back. So this Mora thing, he just threw it in just for
vibes. Like Mora's there for vibes.
It was injuries, and he knows I can put Doherty as left wing back. Let me just try him out right wing back. He's probably told him, listen, I'm only going to do this for you just for the tour. Just embrace it. And Mora probably said, yes, sir, no problem. I'll do that.
Well, the thing is, he's gone on to admit that he'd had conversations about it with Conte. So in the press, so he's interviewed with Ali Gold. But can I throw a question out there, Sam? What did you think? What did you think of Sessegnon?
He's getting more confident. I just little things I saw, snippets of shots in training and stuff, and just little things. I'm seeing the confidence. What I want to see from him though is just a little bit more directness. He seems to always, I want to take the player on. I do it a couple of times, but it's not consistent enough. I think when we see Spence come in, we've seen, obviously, when we did the show, Sid, we looked at the stats in terms of the dribbling stats, and they're really high. And I don't expect anything other than when Spence actually comes into the team for him to do that. I want to see Sessegnon do that because he started off as a higher forward player. He only kind of went into the left back situation because he went to Fulham, and then we've kind of hybrided him into this left wing back. So I like him. He's not there yet, and if Perisic is fit, Perisic will be the starter for me. That's my thoughts.
Sid?
I totally agree with what Sam said. If we can get him back to the left wing back kind of a player that he was at Fulham, because at Fulham, when he went forward, he was great.
He was at Fulham. Yeah, he was.
Defensively, he's not, he's a little bit suspect at times. But we haven't seen the best of him. And I totally agree with what Sam said. He does it in dribs and drabs. We need to see that on a more consistent level. If he does it time after time after time, he'll probably become a better player. But with Perisic coming in now, I think he's gonna have to up his game big time, because he knows that if he doesn't perform, then Perisic is gonna come in, basically.
Well, I think he knows that already. The good thing for him is Perisic is slightly injured at the moment, which is getting him more opportunity to prove himself. So he's been given this opportunity to show Conte, right? Because Conte said, he's come out and said, I trust him. The fact that he's been playing him, he trusts him. And for Conte to say that, that's one of the biggest compliments of any player of that sort of age should be able to take. Conte, renowned world top 5 manager, I'm 22-year-old kid that's come from, you know, the ranks of Fulham, and I'm now here at Tottenham. I've got an opportunity to be playing on the grand stage in the CL, etc., etc., etc. He's got to prove it now. He's got to have the confidence. And like I said, I'm seeing a bit more confidence in him. He's got to show that confidence in games. I think probably in training he probably shows it, but matches now, different thing.
Yeah, the jury's out. I have to say.
Okay.
I think
I can see why.
3 years gone, and he's not doing the things that he used to do at Fulham, and obviously the injuries have not helped.
No, I was going to add that the hamstring injuries won't help.
Hamstring injuries haven't helped. So I hope. I mean, obviously, every player that plays for Spurs, I want the best for them. Even Lucas.
But you got to remember, Sean. What you got to remember is Conte believes in the children of the future. If you teach them well, let them be. Then he'll be out that door.
I don't know whether the songs of an alleged paedophile should be introduced.
Let's make sure we keep this on track. We go off track quite often, but we're staying on track because
anyway,
some people we've got to get going soon because you know what's coming on at 9 o'clock. Mark P, I ain't forgotten you. I'm still monitoring the time.
That's all right. He's done his like. He can go now.
But no, I think you're right. I think for some players like Sessegnon who had good minutes last season, looks like Reguilon is now by the by. His competition is Perisic. He's got a player in there, very experienced, blah, 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 33-year-old has done it, been there, done it. But the fact that we're seeing Doherty play left wing back as well, I know it might have been because we were a bit imbalanced on the right hand. On the right hand side, we were looking to play, what's his name there? Because we're playing Lucas Moura there. We know it's whatever. But I still think that Sessegnon has more to do. Given that he's 22, Sean, I'm going to give him a little bit more of a time because of the injuries, because he's had a significant injury. And that seems to now, if he's doing this hard training and he gets through this pre-season, I think he'll stay relatively fit. Because that's one of the things that they did say. If he gets pushed and he breaks down, I think his career probably would have been done at Spurs. At the moment, he's not.
Ciao, mate.
Mark B. Well,
I'll follow you on Twitter, and then you can keep me updated on what half the nation's watching. I can't believe.
Do the same, Mark. Contact me on Twitter, please. It is, as you can see on the handle. There we go.
Yeah.
Sounds Spurs for life. I think all of us are on Twitter. Suit Spurs. You're what? Oh, you're not, Sean. So you have to tell people yours.
I'm at Hotspur Hurley 61.
There you go. Mark P, make sure. We've got a little bit of time left. So, just wrapping up then. Final thoughts on the actual tour itself, Sid. Did you think it was a success? I think from a PR perspective, we saw the crowds. Somebody put in some chat of the 50 million fans worldwide that I think Spurs have got about 12 million or maybe even more, 20 million.
12.
No. The stat was there are 50 million people that live in Korea.
Yeah.
12 million of them profess to be Spurs fans.
Yeah.
That is significant. Quarter of the country. Oh my God.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
They sell 700 Son 7 t-shirts at every home game.
Tottenham Hotspur sell 700.
Yeah.
They sold how much was it now? They sold
a lot.
Heap lot. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So I think from a PR perspective, definitely a very, very good tour, very lucrative, I would imagine, and it does get the fan base. We can see that over in Korea, the best supported team is Spurs. We just need to now branch out and keep this. We have to have a worldwide appeal, and we've got the right setup in terms of the manager, in terms of the players, in terms of the facilities that we have, the stadium, the training facilities. We can see that. So again, what else are you looking forward to for the rest of this preseason?
So for me, it's like what you said. This tour was all about Son, right? And because he's been, a superstar, it was all about getting everything we can up in Asia, get the dosh coming in because we made some serious money over there. In terms of the football, the fitness, I think Conte will be happy with the results, the fitness levels. And they all enjoyed it. They've all come back here now, and it's just finishing off the pre-seasons with good performances. I don't think he's going to be that bothered about results. He wants to make sure, come the first game of the season against Southampton, we're up and running. Every single one of them players is fit, in pristine condition, and when he calls them, they're ready to come on that pitch and make a massive difference. Because like you said, Sam, this season, we're ready to go, mate. It's going to be mental. 100%. So this is all about getting them all ready, getting them all in place. Yeah. That's why you wanted them before the pre-season started, because he can get his squad ready, get them all tuned up and everything. So it's going to be an interesting. So it's just go out there, play, put your heart out, put in a good performance, and then off we go.
Listen to that from Paul Russell here. If true, they sold 4,500 odd shirts in 6 weeks leading up to the games, and probably more on the day of the games. And every kit that Tottenham bring out, I'm sure they'll sell. So you can understand why we're bringing out second,
2 games sold out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You know, I mean, 64,000 the first game and 40-odd thousand the second. Yeah. I mean, in terms of PR, we couldn't have done any better. The players have really, you know, all the messages from the players saying how grateful they were for the reception that they got in Korea, the support they got, the experiences they undertook. It seems a win-win in that situation. We had, as I said at the start of the show, perfect games, a leg loosener, and then a game against a very competent, possession-based team, and you know, we made money hand over fist, I would imagine. So you can't complain. The results weren't important. They shouldn't be important. The results for the next 2 games are important to me, particularly next Saturday.
Important to you, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, we have to beat Roma because it's Jose, but that's, you know, it'll break my heart at the same time as if my Serie A team are getting beaten by us. But never mind. So let's start seeing the germ of the idea of what the first 11 is going to be on August the 6th. That we will all be watching in the brand new stadium.
We'll all be there.
Yeah.
Season ticket crew. Season ticket people.
Let's hope, you know, we're reporting on, you know, a new signing, allegedly. You know, we've seen the pictures, but still not officially announced.
Yep.
And let's just have a great time. And if anyone's coming up to Glasgow next week, don't forget your brolly. Weather forecast is wet. So
bring a coat as well. You might need a coat too.
Don't bring the Wally with you as well.
Hey, guys, we still got 50 odd people watching the stream. Thank you for staying. Even though we're 4 minutes into Love Island time, we still got 50 odd. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Like. It really will help us out, as Sean has said, with the algorithms. And you might even get Sid singing again on Friday in his show. We'll see. Subscribe if you're new as well. Please also share this content around with everybody that you know who would like to see us free and more. There's more of us as well. We've got quite a few in our setup. Anyway, I think let's just get the last comment up here. Look who it is.
Look who
it is.
Oh my God.
He pops up at the last moment with the winner. Good show, lads.
Frying away on the English Mediterranean, yeah.
Where are you?
Hotspur Hustler, we know you're not very well, but we are glad to see you in the chat. Thank you for ending that. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you to all that's watched. Again, can't say anymore, but please keep supporting us. We thank you for all your comments. We thank you for watching us, basically. It's really good to see so many people giving the time. And I think, last comment there, Mark P. Oh, you can't look at, oh, you've got it on 2 screens. I know what he's doing. He's got another screen there watching us and watching LI.
Watching me, watching you, Paxton Road TV.
Gentlemen, we're getting doolally. So now it's time to go. Thank you very much.
It's the heat.
It's true, but I've got a nice air-conditioned room here. Sid Spurs, Sean Hurl. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. We look forward to the remaining games in pre-season. And obviously, August the 6th, Saturday, 3 p.m.
Come on, you Spurs!
Southampton. We're there. Are we gonna meet up again and do our little thing again?
Definitely.
No hoodies. I won't be wearing my hoodie this time because that's too warm. Three amigos. We'll do that 100%. And if you are there, look out for us. We'll be there at the game. We'll be there at quite a few home games actually. Well, certainly as season ticket holders. So yeah, there'll be.
Before we go,
yes,
Friday at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The double act.
Yeah.
Me to you. And
you to me.
And I want this to happen on Saturday. When we're doing the live stream on Saturday of the Rangers game.
Oh, yeah. Watch longs.
Live stream on Saturday of the Rangers game with Darius 3K, myself, and Sam. And hopefully, if Mike and Jodi are recovering well, then join them. But we need to do a live moment from the stadium. Let's do a Chris Kamara moment and get Sean on stream live whilst we're live. That would be wicked.
You're putting you under pressure now, Sean. If you see, I'm not putting you under that pressure. That wasn't me. That's the man.
I could maybe do a few minutes at half time or something. Or
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
let's do it live.
Depends on my battery life, of course. But yeah, I'll certainly record a few videos and then I'll send them to someone to buff them up, basically. But I'm working on a very cultural video at the moment. And I'll say no more than that. And hopefully we'll get that pre-recorded and we'll get it into the schedule as well. So
leg looseners and buffing them up. Hey, this is not that show. This is not that show.
I said buffing, not fluffing.
Oh no, I was just checking. You never know what happens on this show. We go into all kinds of areas, but we don't want to be going there. Anyway, guys and girls, thank you for watching. You can see where we're going. It's gone a bit south, but enjoy Love Island. But make sure you join us on Friday for Sid Says. Also Saturday for our watch-alongs and the special Sean Hurl. What have we called it? A trip down White Hart Memory Lane. Is that still?
No. There's that, but this is something else I've done. So I'll say no more. Say no more. Then we got things to do. We got things to come. Take a battery boost if you should. Take a battery boost so you can't run out of power. Actually, somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, it's time to go. We've been doing 57 minutes, and I'm sure Mark's probably itching to just not watch two screens like that. He wants to watch one screen. So, Mark, for you, see you later. We're out, gentlemen. Take it easy, and look forward to Paxton Road Friday, Saturday, and in the future. Guys.
It's just different.